Good morning and welcome. This is episode 8 of Coffee with Campus Consultancy. This morning, I'm joined by our amazing co-host for today, Raquel. Raquel, do you want to say hello?
Hello, everyone. Good morning.
Hi, Raquel. Awesome to have you here. And we've also got the wonderful Cleopatra the Chihuahua joining us this morning. There you go. Beautiful. So we've got a couple of amazing guests, co-hosts. If you're with us this morning, thank you for joining. We'd love to know if you got a tea or a coffee, what are you sipping on this morning? Say good day in the comments. We're LinkedIn Live, Facebook Live. Raquel, what's in the mug there for you?
I've just got standard instant coffee.
I love it.
Standard double shot.
Ain't no time for nothing fancy when you're a student just getting through, right?
Definitely.
I love it. Raquel, we want to know all about you very, very soon. If you are listening and tuning into us right now, if you're on LinkedIn, say good day, jump in the comments, let us know that you're there. If you're on Facebook Live, they'll pop up in our stream as well. Would love to hear from you. And this morning, as we were yesterday, as we will continue to be, very, very proud to also bring this show to you with our impact partner, Kua. So Kua are an amazing social enterprise, and today we're going to be talking about social enterprise. We'll have a few people jump on and talk about the enterprises and projects that they're working on. Kua, absolutely amazing, supporting families in Uganda, 299 families supported and supported especially against climate change, also serving 146,000 cups of coffee for good in the world. So awesome to have them on board. If you're interested in getting your hands on some Kua coffee of your own, just comment below, tag them, share a post, screenshot this, tell the world you're watching Coffee with Campus Consultancy, and we'd love to get some coffee out to you. Now, without further ado, and in a moment, we're going to bring on, actually, we've got our first guest who's going to jump in and have a bit of a share. But Raquel, we're here today to talk a little bit about social enterprise, talk a little bit about you and your journey and overcoming some obstacles. Can you tell the world a little bit, who is Raquel and what's got you excited at the moment?
Hi, everyone. My name is Raquel Cuevas. I am studying Bachelor of Commerce in my third year at Sydney University. I'm a Human Resources Director at Enactus Sydney, a non-for-profit student-run organisation that facilitates initiatives, social and entrepreneurial actual initiatives. So I'll explain a bit about that. So we aim to create a social impact while being financially sustainable. So it's sort of 50-50.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And Raquel, why did social enterprise interest you? Of all the things you could be doing, including winning or coming third in under 21 nationals rowing competitions, waking up at 3 a.m., crazy things that you're up to, which we'll dig into. Why did social enterprise appeal to you? Why is that something that you got involved with?
I think particularly as a Z, individual, we have grown up with news so easily accessible to us, and just with that, being surrounded in that environment and being so much more conscious of our environment and of our impact, that it sort of has built up throughout the years. And I've really wanted to learn how I can create my own small impact. So Enactus has really enabled me to create my own initiative and form a team. And it's just really good. You get to gain a lot of skills, such as organisation, innovation, and you get to work with a really fantastic group of people.
I love it. And I love this idea of social enterprise. And what I want to really talk about today and dig into with you and some of our guests, and we're about to bring Sanduni on, is this idea of creating something that's a real world project that teaches you these skills, that sets you up for the career in the future, but also lets you do good right now. We don't have to wait to do good. And it's why I love Enactus as an organization. I love what you're doing at USyd, and we're definitely going to dig into more about your project and your role there. For today, we also have the amazing Sanduni joining us. So I'm going to bring Sanduni into the stream, and she's going to tell us a little bit about a project that she's working on right now. So super exciting. Good morning, Sanduni. How are you?
Good morning. Hi. Nice to meet you. Well, yeah, I'm part of, I'm the president of the Swinburne Women in STEM Club, and actually today we're having a online networking webinar, and the goal of this webinar is to connect our members to STEM professionals and also network with other members of the club. So we're having a panel discussion with our 4 amazing speakers from the workplace, and they're from disciplines such as civil engineering, biotechnology, and leadership. And then we're hoping to have we wanted to have a bit more of a personal interactive experience, so we're all breaking off into breakout groups to form their own discussions and ask any questions that they have.
Love it.
So,
Love it. And
exciting.
that's so good. And Sanjini, if people are tuning in, they're from Swinburne University, they're in STEM, or they're just women in STEM or allied supporters, women in STEM, and might want to get involved, help you out in the future, how can they reach you? How can they find out more about you and what you're doing, or about the Swinburne Women in STEM Club?
Definitely join on Uni One. The link is on our Facebook, and shoot us an email. I'm always checking the emails and replying to everybody. So
Awesome.
if you ever want to get involved, just shoot me an email or a Facebook DM.
Love it.
Pardon?
What's your email? We'll put it up here so people can see.
Okay, it's Women in STEM Club, westemclub.swinburne@gmail.com.
westemclub@gmail.com.
Wait, I can try put it in the chat. Is this?
Yeah, you can pop it in a comment. Does it look like this? I'm just putting it up down the bottom.
Club.
Is that correct?
Oh, sorry, no.
No?
westemclub.swinburne.com at gmail.com. Sorry.
westemclubswinburne at gmail.com. Does it look like this?
I had to go check it. Yeah,
Hold on.
westemclub.swinburne@gmail.com. Yeah.
Is there a dot in there?
Yeah, between club and Swinburne, sorry.
That's all right. That's where we're making this work in live time. Coffee with Camper Consultancy, episode 8. We're going to work this email thing out. Is this it?
Yeah, there it is.
westemclub.swinburne. We've done it. So if you want to get involved, if you want to help out Sandini in the future, if you know someone who could help out with a Women in STEM event, or if you're passionate about it, if you want to support it in any way, jump on, shoot Sandini through a message. And Sandini, we wish you all the best for tonight.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for jumping on. Thanks, my friend. Cool. I love it, Raquel. I love just people doing things, students helping students. It just makes me happy.
Definitely.
So in terms of you, from the time you got involved with Enactus, and your role currently, is it HR director?
Yes.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. So in HR director, are you looking after all the other students that are involved in Enactus as well?
So I just overlook the sort of flow and ensuring everyone is happy with their project and ensuring that they're all running smoothly. Also organize social events. So I'm one of 2 HR directors. Senna is also another one. And we run social events and bonding activities and just making sure that we're all melding, and especially during these times that, we keep up that communication, checking up on everyone through Facebook, and just making sure everyone's okay. And
I love it. And so I guess one of the things I'd love to dig into here is, and maybe some of the skills that you've developed, if students are out there listening, why should they start getting involved in social enterprise, look into it, explore it, consider it as a business avenue? And if they're staff, why might investing in social enterprise programs or incubators or things like that be something that they look at? So I'd love to get into that with you in a second. A couple of shout outs to people who are jumping in on the comments and saying hello. Good morning to you. Good morning to Chris. Chris is my mum. I love that mum tunes into the stream. Josh, definitely keen to hear about this topic. So Josh Furman co-founds an awesome social enterprise, so we can talk about that. James Hardiman, Dean of Students at St Hilda's College. So glad to have a social enterprise project at St Hilda's, which we're very grateful to be a part of. And Anoop jumping in there, awesome to have you here as well. So for Josh, who's jumping in on the comments, runs a great organization called Spare Pair. So if you want to know more about Spare Pair, we'll make sure we share some links to that a little bit later as well. He'll be on the show in a couple of weeks to talk about a pretty amazing health journey that he's been on personally. Awesome. So Raquel, I guess from a student perspective, if you're a student who's never been involved in social enterprise, or really just maybe hasn't yet veered too far away from their traditional career path, hasn't taken on a project that's sort of community focused, what do you think the value is in doing so for students? What do they get out of it?
So I think it's really just this great network and great group of people that you meet. We're all like-minded and we all want to create an impact. And I think if you're not sure if you're interested or you want to learn more, there's fantastic resources online. Like, I've learned so much, especially on YouTube and, listening to these sort of shows. But particularly joining a group, just stepping outside of your comfort zone, and really exploring, if you're interested in humanities, you might want to look at, homelessness or, different social issues. And it's really great to learn about this because it makes you more aware. And as we move further on in this world, people are becoming more consciously aware of their impact of, and especially with Gen Z, as we enter the workforce, we're going to be bringing new businesses that do address these issues. So if you can create that awareness and create that knowledge already on what exactly this is, then, you'll provide more pathways for yourself. And there's so much more opportunities, especially in the digital world. As we go into market, like digital marketing now is such a huge thing. It's generating like $100 billion a year or something crazy. And it's just so important in order for like individual growth and also in order to help society as a whole.
Yeah. And one of the things that's really interesting on top of that, I think you do so much good for society. So I think from a student perspective, I sort of see it as there's probably three big elements. And one is definitely that social impact. So, and maybe even for like a social awareness, like you're doing good, but you're also becoming more aware about kind of what's going on in the world. But something I workshopped with Jimmy, who jumped in on the comments, and Raquel for guidance. When I first started university, Jimmy was my RA, one of the RAs. So I got to college and there was Jimmy, and Jimmy was like the guy, it's like, and still just is just an amazing human who's just passionate and caring and loving. And I'm sure I'm embarrassing him right now. But nearly 10 years later, we have an opportunity to work together and create this sort of social enterprise program within a different setting. So it's funny how when you do something that's purpose driven, you can, at the time we weren't talking about social enterprises. When I was 18 years old, I was like, where are we going tonight? Like that was my focus at 18. But now, like years and years later, we can jump on and we can reconnect about something that we're both really passionate about and is much deeper than just where are we, what have we been doing, what's changed. It's like, this is something we care about. Let's get on this together. And so I think on one level, there's the impact and the purpose behind it. And on the other level, there's a really tangible skill development. And in 2020, and the top 5 skills employers are looking for, one of them is resilience and one of them is initiative and enterprise, which is like creativity. So obviously there's a fair bit of creativity in everything you're doing with Enactus, but I'd love to hear from you about this idea of resilience. From someone who's had 30-hour-a-week wake-ups to go rowing, I won't steal all your thunder. I hear you're a whiz in Excel goal setting, which is just like a direct route to my heart. I'd love to hear from you. How do you think that you've developed resilience, and how do you think about being a student in 2020 and getting through some of the tougher times?
Yeah. So in terms of resilience, it's really built up through your experiences. So, and when I was younger, at 18, I was taking on full-time rowing for Sydney University, and then going on to win in the state in my single scull, and then 3rd in Australia, which is incredible. And of course, I had to wake up at 3:30 in the morning. I would drive an hour to Penrith. I would train, then go to school, and then I would train again, and then study. Maybe not study, but yeah, it's really just you create resilience through your experiences, and I learned that very early on in my rowing. Also doing uni and trying to take on all the things that I'm passionate about, and that shouldn't stop like anyone, just because you're doing 9 to 5 work, and if you're really passionate about something, you will make time for it. And the way that I ended up balancing all of these activities and creating that resilience was through a lot of organization. And I created a lot of like spreadsheets. I would have like a timetable, and every single hour of the day it would be something different.
Wow.
Color coded. But yeah, it's really just pushing your boundaries. And if you have a bit of motivational talk today, if you no pain, no gain, so to speak, the more that you push yourself, the more that you will improve. And that's what we're all about,
Where do you think, I totally agree with you. I think there's that at the end of the day, you've got to, like, the little muscles got to be torn. You've got to go beyond your comfort zone. Yesterday, we were kind of talking about this idea of gratitude and growth. And when we finally got off the line, Thanu and I were chatting afterwards, and we were saying, like, oh, I wonder if it's possible to grow without overcoming some sort of fear or pain. Like, is it real growth if you don't have to push through to another level? So I wonder on your take from rowing, which is obviously something super physical. I imagine from watching it on TV and never having been in a boat like that, a rowing boat. I've been in a boat before, but do you think there's an element of, if you wanted, for you, just for your experience in the areas where you've really grown and developed, is there almost a necessity to lean into something that, like, not just is a little bit new, but like is actually scary or painful or just flat out uncomfortable? What do you think the role of that is?
So I think the more that you push your comfort zone, the more regularly that you push your comfort zone, the more that you will feel comfortable, I suppose, pushing. So when I had to wake up at 3:30 and row 25 kilometers, at the beginning it was really difficult because my sort of boundaries were very limited. I didn't know how to row. I was only rowing 5 kilometers, but with consistency, I began to feel more comfortable, and I could expand that. And, it's incredible to see, like, what humans are capable of, and Ironmans, and, rowing for me, like, it seems nothing to that sort of thing. And it's not just sports, it's work. It's taking on, volunteering, being a parent even. There's just so many things that, with balance, with consistency, that you can achieve so much.
That's amazing. And how does that cross over, do you think, now to your work with social enterprise? You said that you're involved in a project yourself. So I'd love to hear. Can you tell us and tell everyone a little bit about your project? We've got people jumping on, commenting in there around different areas that they're coming from. So we've got Layla from the University of Tasmania, International Student Employment Liaisons jumping in. Philip's jumping in as well from the US. So Raquel, your insights are beaming across the Pacific. Jimmy's talking about some stuff we're going to be getting into tonight, which is good fun. So I'd love to know from you, what's the project that you're working on? What's your social enterprise now?
Yeah, so I actually started with sort of my business degree the middle of last semester, and that's when I got into Enactus, and I've always wanted to do something for the world, but I was like, what do I do? Like, I want to do something, but I don't know what, and it's just like that. It was just so frustrating. So I ended up just trying new things. You learn through failure, right? And, it was actually just when I was sitting down, staring at my screen, studying, that, I was getting tired, and I was trying to identify problems that I had for myself, because, there's a lot being done for, like, the developing world. And, I've always was so passionate about that. But I was thinking, what about the everyday person? So when I was looking at my screen, I was, getting tired, and my eyes started hurting. I've sort of heard about anti-blue light glasses, so I researched them, and they're a thing. And some people say that they work. Most people say that they work.
Wait, hold on. I love this, but what are these glasses? What are these mystical glasses that you're talking about?
So anti-blue light glasses are
anti-blue light glasses. Okay, cool.
So from our screens, there's a blue light that's emitted, and research has shown that it can have damaging effect on your eyes and make you feel tired, eye irritation, dryness, whatnot. And so I found these anti-blue light glasses that essentially they sort of reflect the blue light, and it filters the amount that enters your eyes.
Okay.
So I was going to wear them today, but I didn't want to, ruin the look.
I love it. And so is this what you've created? This is your social enterprise, is sharing these glasses with the world?
Yes, I want to sell anti-blue light glasses, and also with the profits, or with the money that we earn, the revenue, we want to donate that back into a foundation that addresses cataracts in a developing country. Mm-hmm. So it's sort of, it's trying to create, something for the everyday person while also addressing an issue in a developing world.
Cool.
Yeah, so I'm hoping to launch that soon. Guys, give me connect with me on LinkedIn, follow me, and you'll see some updates. Bit of a plug.
Yeah, no, I love it. We'll make sure that we share all of your contact details. Your name's popping up there on the screen as well. So if people want to connect, if they know anyone who works in the eyesight industry, one of the big things we talk about with social enterprise is you want to find people who are experts in your field. So you want to go out there and find people who okay, if you're going to work in glasses, who are 10 people that you could meet that sell glasses, make glasses, have been working with glasses for 40 years, whose grandparents sold glasses. Who are those people? Who are the potential customers as well? Who are 10, 15, 20 people? If you're a student out there and you've been staring at a screen all day, my eyes were hurting last night after I've been staring at the screen, but it might have just been being up for an ungodly amount of time. Who are potentially people who might buy? What do they think? Would they wear these glasses? What do they want them to look like? And then also the beneficiaries. So I think one of the really interesting things that a lot of the Enactus projects talk about is, there's lots of ways to do good in the world. And one of the avenues towards achieving that social good is obviously money. Money can be a real fuel for that, but there are lots of other ways you can do it as well. So it'd be really interesting to know from these different organizations, what do they actually need? If you were to email 10 of these organizations and say, what do you need from us? Do you need money or do you need something? Do you need skills? There's some cool organizations.
I couldn't emphasize that more, just echoing what you said, reaching out to people, because personally, when I was trying to, so it's an e-commerce business, basically what my project is. And I was very inexperienced in the whole e-commerce world, and it's taking over right now. But yeah, it seems very complex, and that's a particular issue that people face. And it's, and you spend a lot of time trying to learn everything when there's so many people, just like Josh and I, who are so open to help you. And it's just, it's so worth it, just sending a message over to someone and reaching out.
Yeah, absolutely love it. And I'm loving if everyone's tuning in as well, loving the comments on LinkedIn. If you're joining us today, episode 8 of Coffee with Campus Consultancy, we're here with the amazing Raquel. We heard a little bit earlier from Sanduni at Women in STEM at Swinburne Women in STEM. So if you are a woman in STEM and you want to, or you could support Sanduni and her work tonight, please reach out to her. That would be amazing. From a little bit earlier. If you're a University of Sydney staff member, alumni, student, reaching out to Raquel and maybe finding out a little bit more about what Enactus at USyd is doing. And if you're involved in social enterprise, if you're a founder, if you're interested, if you have a question, if you've got a business idea, or even if there's a problem in the world that you're I want to know how to solve this. How do we solve this? Jump on the link in the description for this stream and jump on the show. Have a chat with us. Share us your questions. Share with us what you're thinking about. Share with us what you're working on or what you're passionate about. We'd love to talk about it. And also university staff members out there as well. If you're listening to this right now and you're thinking, okay, social enterprise, how does that play into employability? I guess that's what we'll start going a little bit deeper into now as we talk to Raquel about her experiences and the team at Enactus. So Raquel, when you look at the Enactus team as a whole, how many students are involved at the University of Sydney with all the different projects you run?
Yeah, we have 45 people. Yeah,
awesome.
And over 7 initiatives. Yeah.
Cool. Very nice. And if you were to imagine, if we had all of them here and you were to ask them a question, you were to say, what's the number one skill you think you've developed by being involved in Enactus? What do you think in general across the board would be the top sort of answer that would emerge from that?
I definitely say a bit of creativity, innovation.
Yeah. Just bringing a project to life.
Yeah, it's a bit of a challenge, even just like I said earlier, creating what project you want to do, because and that comes creativity comes with a lot of extra other factors. But last semester I tried to do a project and it didn't do very well because you need to identify the market, the demand, and you have to be creative in ways that you can address the current market, I suppose. So yeah, I definitely say a bit of creativity, innovation, just being, out of the ordinary, because there's so many projects, so many incredible projects right now. So it's just really trying to level out with that.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's a really interesting thing about the social enterprise world. I just jumped off a call this morning at 7 with Dr. A, and she runs an online school over in the US. She's based in Philadelphia. and was a professor for 10 years at universities, and then now runs an online classroom with students from all over the world. And one of the interesting things we were having a chat about was this idea of when people are doing real world projects where they have to go and speak to actual humans, like we realize how so many of the constructs within a classroom environment get really challenged in the real world. Like the idea that you do an assignment and you write it once and then you submit it and someone gives you a score out of 100 and that's it, is like, it's so one-off, and then you finish. I know my time at university, I'd finish an assignment, then you move on to the next one. And you'd be like, is this on the test? And like, no, that was just for assignment 1. And you'd be like, delete in your brain. Like you'd be like, I remember this process of like removing information that I just worked so hard to learn because I was on this treadmill of pursuing. Whereas when you make a real project and you put it out in the world, one comment from one person can completely change the direction of your company or of your organization, of your enterprise. If someone says from your blue light glasses, someone goes like, their blue light glasses, really wish they came with a blue frame or something like that. I'm not a style expert. Like, oh, that's really interesting. Maybe that's a thing we can do. Or it's like, oh, I really like, it's interesting that they're glasses, but maybe the problem is that we actually need to not stare at the computer so much. And that, like it's a totally different product. And every time I think you go out and you speak to customers, every little comment they make, every piece of feedback and insight starts to form much more of a circle of like, okay, I've learned this. Now I can build a version 2. Now I can put it out to the world, see what they think. Now I can get some more feedback. All right, now we'll build a version 3, put it out to the world, get some more feedback, learn some lessons. And it ratchets and ratchets around rather than this model of like, I'm finished writing my assignment. It's done 2 minutes before midnight. Like there's a very final nature in a lot of assessments. And when it comes to project stuff, it's always live. It's always evolving. So I'd love to know from you in that creativity process. And I agree, I think that's a huge skill that students get out of social enterprise. Where do you find, in terms of getting feedback, speaking to customers, going out and talking to real people, do you find that something that students are pretty comfortable with, or is there any hesitation in getting out of the classroom and speaking to people in the community? What's your experience been like there?
Yes, you definitely touched on a great point in terms of learning, it's direct information that you learn within the classroom, and you don't really gain those soft skills maybe if you put up your hand in class, but through projects, like definitely have learned a lot about communication and the way to engage effectively with customers, with the public, and receiving feedback, and also gaining that resilience to be able to take constructive feedback, and maybe there's a few negatives, but, take it as a win, because that's something that you can use to improve your current project. And I think it's definitely a great point.
And so looking forward for you, I know you're someone who's very goal oriented. It's obviously April right now, looking forward to the rest of 2020. What's on your to-do list? What's on your vision board? What are some of the things that you want to achieve or work towards this year?
So I guess being a university student, I want to complete my studies, obviously, do well. I also want to start my project, my business, learn a bit more about the online digital world, I suppose, and learning about, Facebook and how social medias work. And I think this is such a great time now to use this time to develop, like, upskill. So throughout the year, I really want to upskill more. I've just gone back into playing my flute the other day, so nice. I want to learn a bit more on the flute. Also touch up on my German so I can be fluent, hopefully. And just focusing on my studies. And also I've just started velodrome cycling, so I want to get back into that, hopefully once everything clears up. See where that goes.
You've got a lot on your plate there. I like it. And in terms of, so I guess if we were to look at some of the things we chatted about today in terms of social enterprise and how that helps with students, like, one, it's something real. It's a real thing they can put on LinkedIn. They can put on their resumes. Like, here's a real project with real people that hopefully does some good in the world. Two, a lot of that creativity and initiative and enterprise, like you're having to come up with something new. The answer is not in the back of the book. I'm sure I read this somewhere, but the idea that, like, if the answer's in the back of the book, it's not a good question. So it's helping students answer new questions, because the questions we have to deal with in the world, they're new. No one has the answer to them. And thirdly, it's probably a large part around that resilience as well, is knowing you're going to come up against failure. How do you take feedback? Can you go at it with a growth mindset? Can you really listen to people and hear what they're really trying to say and then implement that in your projects? Raquel, you mentioned there developing like some professional skills or sort of personal development. If there's one skill that you think for you would like to get even better at before the end of the year that would help your project, help your career, help everything you're working on, is there a sort of skill that you've got that's top of mind?
I'd probably say, I'd probably just say being, oh my God, I feel like
Why do you think, because you did sort of hint at before the idea of like in a digital world, like some digital literacy media. You were sort of like hinting at that before, but I was wondering if that's like, is that a skill set you really want to lean into, or is there something else?
Yeah, for sure. I definitely want to learn a bit more about the digital world, but in terms of like interpersonal skills, I'd probably just say being, actually what you were touching on earlier, just being more open to accepting constructive criticism and being more flexible and using those ideas to benefit my project, because I mean we can get like quite swept up with our own ideas when we just sort of totally blind to the outside world. So just being more like transparent, more open, and reaching out to more people. I mean, it's one thing to say, but it's another thing to actually do it. So yeah.
Yeah, I think that's amazing. And I think that was something that we had Sanduni on a little bit earlier. One of the things that we were chatting about yesterday in a session was just this idea of the power of reaching out to people, the power of just asking and putting the offer out there. And if you don't ask, the answer is always going to be no. But if you do, sometimes people will surprise you and they'll say yes. And it's amazing how you can often come back. I've found it's been really nice when you ask someone for something out of the blue and then a month or 3 months or 6 months later, they come back to you and they're like, hey, like, not like I helped you, can you help me? But sort of like, I've got this on my plate. Like, do you want to be involved? Do you want to partner up on this? Like, could you help me with this? And I think 99 times out of 100, I'm always like, yes, amazing. Like, it's just a chance to reconnect and to give even more. So I've been kind of amazed at that power of reaching out, whether it's to people who have expertise in blue light glasses, or whether it's just other students in Enactus groups around Australia, other student leaders like Sanduni running student clubs. I think it's a beautiful mindset to be in. Raquel, it's been really nice chatting with you this morning. It's been nice talking about some of the skills behind social enterprise. Hopefully there's some students out there who are tuning in and will tune in and will see that these are skills that are worth developing, that employers want, and also a lot of fun to get involved in. If you were to send a message out there to anyone thinking about whether it's joining an Enactus club, starting an Enactus club, or just getting involved with a social enterprise project or business in general, what would your advice be to someone who's thinking about it?
My advice would to seek a group. So within most universities, there's an Enactus group, and really just explore the projects that they're doing. There's also like businesses as well that try to tackle social issues. There's so many of them, and just reaching out. I mean, that's just the key. You've just really put the nail on the head on that. Just reaching out to people and message me even. Like, I'm so open to conversation and really improving other people. So just reaching out, finding a group, because everyone there is so like-minded and so passionate about the same thing, especially during these times. There's so many Zoom calls I've been on. There's just so much opportunity now more than ever. So go for it.
Yeah, absolutely love it. You heard it here. Now is the time for opportunity. If you're interested in this, if you're trying to figure out what should I do with this time, with this COVID time, we've got more time at home, we're not traveling, how do I get involved in something? Reaching out to a group of people, find an Enactus, type in social enterprise, insert your city into Google, look in Meetup, look in Eventbrite, look in Facebook, try to find some events, top books on social enterprises. You might read chapter 1 by the Thank You co-founder Daniel Flynn, an Aussie social enterprise, absolutely amazing book. A whole bunch of free TED Talks and YouTube videos online, podcasts with social enterprise founders all over the world. And some of them you might have heard of, like even if you get into ones like Who Gives a Crap, who make toilet paper. Who would have thought there'd be a global toilet paper shortage? And their homepage is one of the funniest websites on the internet right now. The puns are very, very real. So it's really, really interesting. It's a really interesting space. It's booming. Gen Z cares about this. I want to buy brands with purpose. So I think you'll hear a lot more about social enterprise in the coming years. And Raquel, in a lot of ways, is sort of ahead of the curve here. So thank you for giving us some of your time today. We wish you all the best. Really appreciate you coming on for episode 8 of Coffee with Campus Consultancy. And if you're listening in, or if you're listening in the future, so I get a lot of messages, people saying they're watching replays at later times. We hope you have or are having an amazing day. Today, and Coffee with Campus Consultancy is proud to be partnering with Kua. So Kua, our impact partner, social enterprise themselves. I really recommend you check them out. Their logo is up in that corner above Raquel. Their logo is up in there. So if you want to check out, there we go, look at us go. So if you want to check out Kua, they're absolutely awesome, empowering families in Uganda with coffee that does good for the world. So if you're thinking about your morning cup of joe, think about Kua. And if you have enjoyed this, if you're enjoying these broadcasts, take a little screenshot, share it, tag me, tag Raquel, tag Campus, tag Kua, whoever. Just let us know. We'd love to give out some coffee at the end of the week. And that would be awesome. So with that, Raquel, thank you. You're amazing.
Thank you, Josh. Thank you so much for this time on here, and lovely for all the comments. Thank you so much. I hope everyone has a lovely, lovely day. So yeah, talk soon.
I love it. We'll talk soon. All right. Bye all. Have a great morning, and we'll see you tomorrow for episode 9 of Coffee with Campus Consultancy at 8 a.m. AEST. See you then.
Bye.